Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be solving this problem called find the I don't know what do you call torsional angle. So here we'll be learning about classes in Python. So I've already searched in Google and I'm gonna show a brief introduction about this. First, I'm gonna tell you what the problem is about. Here you can see we'll be given 4 points A, B, C, D in 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinate system. So each of them will be having 3 points, coordinate x, y, z. A will be having x, y, z, B will be having x, y, z, C and D likewise. You are required to print the angle between the plane made by points ABC and BCD. So the planes made by these two points of ABC and BCD, that we have to the angle between them we have to calculate in degrees, not in radians. Let the angle be phi, phi. So cos phi is equal to x dot y divided by modulus of x modulus of y, where x is AB cross BC and y is BC cross CD. Okay, these values. So x dot y means the dot product of x and y, and AB cross BC means the cross product of vectors BC and CD, AB and BC. Also AB is B minus A, right? So there are a lot of information given here. So we have to calculate the angle phi here. So cos phi is equal to x dot y divided by mod x mod y. This is what it is given to you, where x is AB cross BC and y is BC cross CD. How you gonna calculate this AB BC? AB is B minus A. Similarly, BC will be C minus B, right? Similarly, you can calculate all this. You have to calculate the dot product, cross product, feed the values here. You will be able to calculate the value of phi, right? So that is what we have to calculate. The input format is given. One line of input containing the space separated floating numbers values of x, y and z coordinate of a point. So you can see this is your A, this is your B, C and D, and finally output is angle corrected up to 2 decimal places is printed, that is in degrees, not in radians. This is what we have to calculate, but using class. What is given to us, you can see a class is given here, right? Some import math is so for the calculation of different multiplication, division type things we can calculate by using math, not so necessary. So here you can see this part is given to us. You can't change this, guys. You can see I can't change it. So this is fixed logged code. So inside main you can see they have made a points variable, which is a sort of list. Then inside list they are feeding the float values. So okay, so you can see inside points what you will be having, each element will be one coordinate 0, 4, 5. The next element will be 1, 7, 6. That is what they have done. They have converted into float and then they have stored it as a list, right? So each of the point A, B, C, D will be one element, and one element will be 0, 4, 5. Then next element will be 1, 7, 6. Next 0, 5, 9, and then next 1, 7, 2. These are the elements inside points. This point, small points, right? There is a capital P points here. You can see there is a small p point. So small points I will say. Okay. Then they are calling something. You can see here capital points. Capital points is the class name here. They are calling, right? And they are feeding the small points value. So here they are feeding A. Here they are feeding B, C, and D. Right? That is what it is doing. So points 3 means these guys, and star is being used so that it is given in this fashion x, y, z, right? So that will be an object. So whatever you are feeding here, that's an object, and this is the class name. Whatever the output will come out, that will come out to ABCD and stored in a small ABCD. So just I'll give you a brief introduction here about classes. You can go for any pages. So this one is short and simple, so I will go through this. So Python is a object oriented programming language. Almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. So a class is an object constructor. It's or a blueprint for creating objects. So you want to play around with classes and objects. So it's like if you want to use these guys again and again, then it is beneficial to define a function inside a class. That's the benefit actually. So I can use this dot cross all the time. So what we have to do, okay, I'll tell you later on. Here you can see how to create a class. You just write class and then the name, this my name, my class, and here you can see there is a variable x is equal to 5, right? So the class has been created naming my class with a property named x. So the x is a property. Then you go ahead, create object. So now we can use the class named my class to create objects. You can create objects. So how you want to create it? You can see create an object named p1. So p1 is your object now, and you defined like my class in brackets. So this is the class name. What you did is you provided these brackets, and now this is your p1. So p1 is named as is an object here. Now print the value of x. So what you can see, you can access this property of the class by this method p1. p1.x, if you will print, it will print the value of x. Okay. Now you have something called init function, which is very important. Here also you will see init function is there, underscore init, and then underscore bracket function like this. So what it means is the example above are classes and objects in the simplest form and are not really useful in real life application. To understand the meaning of classes, we have to understand the built-in function init. All classes have a function called init, which is always executed when the class is being initiated. Okay, so this guy will always be executed. This guy will always be executed. This is just a function. Inside this, we have to define something. Okay. Use the init function to assign values to object properties. We can assign values inside this, or other operations that are necessary to do when the object is being created. Okay, so this is your object, p1 is your object. So the p1 is your user. It will use the your classes and init functions. Okay, so you have to define you can define and assign values to object properties inside init. Here you can see class, create a class named person. Use init function to assign value for name and age. So see here, this is the class and the class name, which is person. Inside this you can see there is a function. Def is written, that's why I am telling that it's a function. So the function is init, and inside that it takes three parameters: self, name and age. What is this self? We'll see later. So here you can see name and age it will take, and we are defining something called self.name is equal to name and self.age is equal to age, so that your object can access the name and age of a person. Okay, that's why we are doing it. So here you can see a object has been created, which is p1, and which is a person, which is the class name, and you are feeding the value John and 36. So it will automatically initiate init function. Inside that it will feed the name and age, which is John and 36. Inside this it will come, it will assign self.name is equal to John and self.age is equal to 36. Okay, now you can access via p1.name. If you will access, you will get this value. Okay, p1.age if you will do, you will get this value. Okay, so it's slightly confusing, but if you are aware of classes and all, you will be able to get it. Now init function is called automatically every time the class is being created, or class is being used to create a new object. So here the class is being used to create a new object p1, and every time the class this init will function is automatically initiated. Okay, Now object methods. Objects can also contain methods. Methods in objects are functions that belong to the object. So we have seen the different functions like this, right? So let us create a method in the person class, right? So insert a function that prints a greeting and execute it on the p1 object. Here you can see this is the class, this is the init function. Now there is an extra function which is called myfunc. It is taking self as the parameter and it is printing hello my name is plus self dot name. So you can access the name variable via self dot name. That's why we have stored here. Okay, so this is your definition. How you want to use it now? You define the class, the object p1 is equal to person. You are providing John and 36. Now you are calling the function through your object, so it will directly print the name, right? So it's like user is your function, object. Object is using your class functions, okay, whereas init will automatically run, whereas this you have to call. Okay, the self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class and is used to access variables that belong to the class. So that's the use of self. It is used to access variables that belong to the class, which are these guys you can see, right? The self parameter is the reference, same thing is written. It does not have to be named self. You can call whatever you like, but it has to be the first parameter of any function in the class. So that's important. It has to be first function, means first argument you are giving is always taken as self, and you can call it any name. My silly object you can call, or you can call abc. You can see these are all self working as a self function. So you don't have to write it self all the time. You can write anything, but you have to make sure the first parameter of any function in the class, these first parameters of any function in the class has to be self, right? Means like, or any other name. So this is what is given here. You can also modify the object properties. So you can set the age of p1 as 40, you can see. Then you can delete the object properties. You can delete the age, del p1 dot age. Then you can delete the whole object as well. p1 also you can all delete. And one thing is important, that class definition cannot be empty. You have to print something inside this. If you don't have anything, you can write pass, okay? But if you for some reason have a class definition with no content, put it the pass statement to avoid getting an error, okay? So here you can see just a small exercise. Here just you have to write class, right? So submit answer, show answer. You can see this is the class. So you can do it. So this was short introduction. You can explore more about classes. Now I'm gonna come back to the problem. So hope you got the feel. So we were here. So class is being called points, and these are feeded. These arguments are feeded. So it will directly go to this init function. Okay. Init takes self x y z. This x y z will come from here, right? So this is your x y z 0 4 5. So all of the these a b c d points are just calling the init function, because you are not specifying anything like sub, dot, cross, absolute. So that's why you have to assume that it is automatically calling init. Right now, what you will be doing here, you will be storing means assigning values. So what I'll do, self dot x is equal to x, and you can call it anything, but I'll keep it self only. Self dot y is equal to y. Similarly, self dot z equal to z. This is what it will do. That's all. Okay. So it will. So what you are doing is you are just assigning the variable self dot x, self dot y, and self dot z the x y z value. Okay. So and whatever is being returned, So the return will not be anything, it's just a point. A will have the this cell, means like how will I say, so you are calling through points, this points, inside this it will come, it will assign it, and this whole activity is being stored in A, similarly in B, similarly in C, similarly in D. Okay, just the coordinates will be different. Okay, if in within minutes you will be understanding what is happening. Okay, slightly confusing, but you will get it. Now you can see here it is doing cross product. X is being saved here, you can see X is AB cross BC, right? So AB is what? B minus A, and BC is what? C minus B. So C is one, here you can see C is your this activity. Here you will store the 059 will be stored here, and when it will do BC minus B, it will automatically call this function sub. Underscore sub is the way it is written, it is automatically called. Okay, so it's something related to one operator. I will tell you in the next problem. And there is one more problem where it will show that how using this minus sign will automatically call this sub function. Okay, so what it is doing, C you are already having here, right, and B you have to give it, right? So B will come as a number here, and self will come with these guys, right? So what I'm gonna write is, here we're gonna return the subtraction, whatever you call. So I'll return self dot x minus number dot x, right? This is how x coordinate will be calculated. C is x coordinate minus B is x coordinate. Similarly, C is y coordinate minus B is y coordinate. Similarly, C is z coordinate minus B is z coordinate. That's how the vector subtraction is done, right? So that is what I am doing. So this is your x coordinate, then y coordinate also you can do. So I'll copy it, and similarly you can have z coordinate, right? Let me do it. So this is y, and this is z, right? So this is what it will return, but the problem is it is in tuple form, x, y, z, right? We want in point form. The problem, okay, one thing I'll do, so you can't just leave the classes, write this, it will show an error. So let me write pass here also, pass, right? So tuple, see here it is written tuple object has no attribute cross, so we have to convert this into point, so that's why it is not able to do cross here, right? So what you have to do, so now you have tuple, so to make it a point you just have to pass it to these points and init function. Okay, so let me do it, capital points, just like this guy, just like this thing I'm doing. Okay, so you had these points and you are passing it to class, so that's what I am doing. Star, like this. Okay, so this will be returned, so there won't be any problem. Now you have to look for the other function. So dot product will also be same. So if you remember dot product, so x will be multiplied with x, y will be multiplied this thing, x will be multiplied with x, y will be multiplied with y, and z will be multiplied with z. So let me write it. So similarly here also it will happen. See, b minus a will also be calculated automatically. So b will be stored here, and a will come from number, this no, and it will calculate and it will be returned here. Okay, but the cross thing it is not aware of right now. So let me first do cross, right? Cross thing we have to do. So let me write cross product, or let me write dot product both, right? Okay, so we're gonna return the cross product, okay, or and dot product. So what I'll do here is self dot x star number dot x, right, plus same thing I'll write, same thing, this same thing, but dot products has plus, right? So this I'll remove. So it's a scalar, okay, so they you won't be getting in the output coordinates, and here it has to be star, here has to be star, so a single value will be returned. Okay, so that is dot product, simple scalar thing. So you don't have to make a point here. So this thing you don't have to do here, because you are only getting a single value, right? So cross will do the dot will do the single give the return the single value. Now similarly, if you will write for a cross product, what will happen? You have to write a slightly longer expression. So cross product is defined, let's see. So you have three coordinates, no? So coordinate wise you have to calculate the cross product, which is a determinant form, if you remember. Where is it? So this thing, this A cross B, this product, if you remember, determinant type, this guy, I j k a1 a2 a3 b1 b2 b3. So this is how it is being calculated, right? So if you remember the process of doing the cross product, that is what I'll write. So let me remove pass, return. Okay, so here I'll write self dot y star number dot z. Okay, so this is for x guy, minus self dot x x self yz minus zy, right? Zy minus number dot y, right? So this will give you x coordinate. That is what cross thing I am doing, this cross thing, right? If you remember the process, here it is doing. So I can't show you right now. So this thing I'm writing, a2 a2 b3 minus a3 b2, that will give you the x coordinate, right? So this is your x coordinate. So now I'll write y coordinate. So it is a self dot z into number dot x minus minus what is self dot x, self x star number dot z, and this is so x yz minus zy. I think it is correct, self y number z, self z number y, self z number x, self x number z. Then one more will be there, no? So one more will be there, z coordinate. Let me take this guy and do the modification. Here we are calculating the z coordinate, x, y, and here it will be y, x. Right, so this is how it will look like. So this is your x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate, but this is in tuple form. So I'll do the same thing what I did in subtraction. So points, bracket, star, and here I'll close the bracket, so it will convert into points. And finally you can see here the absolute value is already given to us, right? X square plus y square plus z square under root 1 by 2, right? So that will return. So this is a single value, that's why points is not being used. Only points is used here and here because they are giving coordinates in tuple form, so it will convert here, right? So here you can see b minus a and c minus b will be calculated, and this cross product will return a coordinate that will be stored in x. Similarly y will be calculated, and when this math a cos will do the dot product will return a single value. Here absolute value will be called this absolute, you can see, and then absolute values will be calculated, and angle will be calculated. Angle is up to 2 decimal places. Math dot degree, degrees in converted into degrees up to 2 decimal places. So right, this is how the process is being done. So here you can see x dot y. So x will become this self guy here, self guy, which is self dot x, self dot y, self dot z, and y will become number, right? Number dot x, number dot y, number dot z. Okay, that is how the process is being done. So why it is a wrong answer? I do some mistake. Self dot x square, self dot y square, self dot z square. This is correct. Absolute is correct. I think I have made some mistake in cross. Let me recheck again. So points star self dot y cross number dot z minus self dot z cross number dot y. Okay, this is where I have done. It has to be multiply. Rest everything is correct, I think. Now the sample test case is passed. All the test cases are passed, and congratulations, you have finished it. So you can see the idea is simple. You could have directly done it, but they wanted us to use the classes. Okay, so object, classes, and then all the function, how it is being used, it is called. Here you can see, and this was the important part here. So you had tuple, but when you will call it points, inside points as a object, it will convert into this guy. Okay, so this will be given to x, then y similarly, right? Then xy will already be a point like these guys a b c d, and hence it will calculate it. Slightly different type of problem, but if you are aware of classes and all in your C++ and all, then it will be easier for you. Different type, but good. Okay, so let's see a similar problem like this next.